Hey, welcome back to the Follow Up Media podcast. My name is Christian Lee. My co-host, Leon Goochworth III, in the house.
Wow. Thank you.
There are three
Yeah.
Goochworths.
Lineage of Gooch.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm the CEO of Follow Up Media. Leon Goochworth III is the VP of Sales, joining me again today. And so Follow Up Media, real quick, is a full-service production and creative-led agency. We operate 3 studios now, third one about to open here in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And we are remote. As far as clients go, we have remote capabilities worldwide to execute for our clients, even if it's a podcast or content creation. We have those capabilities.
Since I wasn't here last week, where can I find or the viewers find the podcast that you recorded?
Our podcast?
Yes.
Oh, that's a great question, Leon. Followupmedia.com, available on all podcasting platforms, our YouTube channel. I mean, you name it. Hopefully, we'll be there.
Cool. Just wanted to make sure.
Thank you
Yeah.
are you quizzing me? Is that
No, it was just for the viewers. See if
Okay,
they're listening.
Now, here today, we're going to talk about a subject. We talked about this very same topic before we kind of started creating this 15-episode series about uncomfortable truths in marketing. And so, if you did happen to be one of the 3 people that heard that, I'm going to reiterate it today again, and I'm going to expand on it a little bit more because I feel like since we touched on this topic in a previous outside of the series episode, we're using it more and more because what used to be the rule of thumb is no longer. And that is the simple fact that your website is not a brochure. Okay? It is not a digital brochure. If it stays that way, it's going to be more like a digital tombstone. All right? And nobody wants that. Instead of your website being a brochure, it should be a broadcast studio. Now, does that mean you have to have what we're sitting in right now in your office? No, that's not what I'm saying. Times are changing. AI is everywhere. You know, it's changing the landscape on many, many verticals, many jobs, and people are worried, oh, it's going to take my job. Or no, it should be improving your job. It should be a tool that you use to execute. Okay. So brochures digitally are just not going to win in 2026. This episode, it might sting a little bit. See, most companies are spending real money, hard-earned money on websites that do what, Leon Goochworth III?
They absolutely do nothing.
Nope.
So we might as well just throw it out in the highway.
But that's what they've kind of been trained to do. So, you know, your uncomfortable truth in marketing is going to be uncomfortable. You might not want to sit through it. It might be for Leon's just overall demeanor and aura and hatred of many, many things that we won't say. Or you might find that, hey, you know what? I don't really give a shit about marketing, and that's okay too. Okay, but here's the deal. The biggest lie that we tell ourselves about websites, you know, somewhere along the way, businesses were sold a lie. And maybe at the time it wasn't a lie, but it's not the truth anymore. Okay. If you have a clean website, a nice layout, some copy, a few photos, and a contact form, guess what? You're covered. Here's the uncomfortable truth. In today's world, a website that doesn't actively work for you is dead weight. Okay? It doesn't attract attention. It doesn't build trust. It won't escalate, and it won't educate. Okay? It doesn't sell. It just exists. You know, there's no dynamic reason to keep people there, to hook them. In marketing, and a lot of times we're always talking about the hook. How do you get people's attention and hook them to getting more information, to listening to a bigger piece of your content or watching a bigger piece of your content? Or how do you hook them to make the sign up form on your website, to actually reach out and say, hey, please help me, right? So, Mr. Goochworth, why the brochure website failed? Can you give us a little bit about why brochure websites are failing?
Once upon a time, brochures were a thing. It did happen. When attention was a lot slower, honestly. When competition was either local, when buyers were patient, when Google worked differently. But today, Mr. K. Lee, People don't browse websites, they land on them.
That was beautiful. That was well done, Mr. Goochworth.
Yeah.
And when they land on your website, they're asking themselves one question. Does this help me understand? Does it help me trust or decide fast? If the answer is no, they're gone, right? I mean, like, if I click on a website and the aura is off, I'm probably going to the next. I'm
Yeah.
hitting the back button and I'm going to the next one down, and a lot of times that's the way. I'm not saying every buyer's journey, looks like, but a majority. I'm sure if we looked at our habits of searching out people that we're going to hire for something, whether it's a must need right now, like your septic tank is backed up and you're like, now I got to find somebody. I don't want to have to go through a call center, right? Like that's why I don't click on Google ads. I don't click on the ones that are showing up first via paid. I normally go down to the ones that are organically,
Yeah.
like at the top, because chances are they're local. I'm not calling a center where they're like, well, we're going to dispatch a company to you. And then you're like, no, this is an effing nightmare. I need somebody now. So, right, if the answer is no, they're gone. And that is the truth. And what a website is supposed to do now has one real job in 2026 or in any year, I can imagine. Like, it's to communicate value immediately, right? And repeatedly. Not once, not politely, not passively. I'm talking right the fuck now and continuously. A modern website should be alive. It should talk. It should explain. It should show. It should answer. It should prove. And if your website isn't doing that, it's not a hub.
It's a placeholder.
Thank you. That's great. It's a placeholder, like on a table in a bar that has that little tent that has their cocktails.
Yeah.
You know, but at least they're targeting thirsty people.
Yeah.
I mean, so you got that going for you, right? And because once again, if you didn't have it there, you probably wouldn't even look at ordering that drink.
True.
If you think about the psychology, that what happens then? The waitress comes over and goes, "Have you seen our new cocktails?" And reinforces
Yeah.
what you might have either missed or you just read.
Even if I seen that on the menu, I wouldn't automatically pick that out. I mean, if it stands out on its own, you're gonna remember that.
You might have noticed if you're in the market for a beverage and you might go, oh, look, the little, the table tent, it's got, they have featured drinks for the night. But if the waitress comes over and goes, how y'all doing? And basically tells you how good that fucking drink is, how much more likely are you to at least take his or hers recommendation on it?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So there again, it reinforces it, it repeats. And that's how subliminally you put it in front of them and then you tell them,
Yeah.
right? Same thing. And here's the shift. The shift happened from brochure to, we're going to call it a broadcast studio. It's a mental shift. Most companies just haven't made yet. They haven't made the decision to start creating content to educate their clients or their audience or to help them understand why use us versus anybody else. We're over here. We're over here. Make noise, be loud, claim your share of voice. But your website isn't a destination anymore. It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It should be a distribution center. It should host long form video, embed podcast episodes. And I'm not saying you have to do a podcast, but you could have any type of video, surface short form clips, answer FAQs with media. There's a question in your industry and in your particular business that you can probably almost predict and make fun of, and you probably do already. Some of the first questions that come out of people's mouths when they call or connect with you, and it's like, you know what they're about to say before they say it. Create content that answers those questions. Those are huge, and those are discoverable from an AI standpoint, and can be. Not all the time, it's gotta be positioned right, and it's gotta be, there's a whole thing that goes into that aspect, but you can start heading people and educating them out the gate.
Yeah.
And if they didn't see the clip, you're still gonna have to verbally answer their questions, and even if they did see the clip, you might have to answer it again, but you're reinforcing what you're showing the consistency. I see what you're saying on video, but if I ask these assholes the same questions, are they going to tell me the same thing or are they going to change their recommendation? But what I'm saying is answer that. Build topical authority. Feed SEO and AI and capture leads with context. And then what are you going to do? Leon Goochworth.
You're gonna reinforce the narrative.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Just like mainstream media. Reinforce the narrative. Even if I'm not saying don't say things that aren't true, but the mainstream media does, the government does, and they'll beat it into your heads till you go, well, I guess it might be true.
Yeah. Or I guess in other words, your website should act like a kind of like a broadcast studio, not quiet, not static, maybe not even finished. It's always on.
Yeah, I mean, why not have content and things that literally work for you? Now you could go, oh, my website works for me. It is, I'm doing some SEO stuff. It is more of a digital brochure. And so if people do click there, there is information. You are right. It's not like you have a blank page that offers nothing. And you can display your services in some of your About Us section and all that. That is so two-dimensional. What closes the gap and what converts is if at the same time they're looking at the brochure side and then they can click on content. Or when they Google you, content comes up, right? Videos come up, and then they get to go, wow, I can listen to the CEO or the owner or the founder or the marketing person lay down all this great information that really shows what this company is all about, what their experience level is, right?
Yeah.
The reason why most websites feel empty and lifeless is because they're built once, they're launched, they're celebrated. Woo, Leon, Mr. Goochworth, high five. We got a website. They shared it a few times and then nothing.
No updates.
Crickets. No, no. It's almost like, hey, do we even have a website? There's no rhythm. There's no new content. There's no signals to Google, to AI, to customers. That's not a website. That's a strategy problem.
Yeah.
It's not a website problem. It really is a strategy problem because you kind of set it and forget it and assume it is working. And while it might be available, is it really working? I mean, it's really common sense what we're talking about. And I know that when taking it back to when before websites were, you know, the go-to thing for a business or a person or whatever it was or a service, you were in the yellow pages or you were in this book where people had to like search for services, right? You had full page or quarter page or just a listing. And so like, I get it. There was a conversion there, but now there's another conversion and it can't stay in yellow page prehistoric times. Like it really can't. This needs to become a living, breathing, active thing that is constantly absorbing and ingesting content and distributing it to people who come across your socials, who come across your website, and everywhere that you have a footprint, which should be steadily expanding, in all honesty. And I'm going to be honest, and I hate that saying when people go, let's be honest. That normally means you're fucking lying.
Yeah.
But, you know, people don't start on your homepage. They start on a Google search or a YouTube video or a short clip, or now maybe even a Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, one of these AI answers, a shared link, a podcast episode, and then they land somewhere inside your site, which means every page must be able to stand on its own. I'm not fucking joking. It needs to stand on its own.
Yeah. Whether I click about, whether I click services, resources, anything, it needs.
Anywhere they go,
Yeah.
it should stand on its own. Every page is a front door, right? And if your site only makes sense from the homepage outward, you've lost.
Or you walk into someone's house and say the dining room's a complete wreck, but you cleaned everything else. You're going to remember the dining room. You're going to say all these hogs invited me over, and there's picture frames and dust, and maybe your son's attack towel sitting there.
Oh, right. Thank you. That is, I mean, thank you, Leon, for that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
I don't know about the attack towel. The content first website model, the modern website should be structured exactly around content, not pages. And here's what that looks like. Video first service pages. Podcast episode embedded with summaries, the blog content that supports video, not replacing it, FAQ pages answered on camera, case studies told visually. I'm not saying don't have images to support your case studies or your work. Images are an accent piece and they can be separated from video and still work together. But you're giving people a very dynamic way to see your work. You don't need a video for every single thing. We're not saying that. Not everything has to be a talking head. It doesn't. It doesn't need to be a full-on production. It just it just can't be a two-dimensional static image that's all your website is, right? And so case studies told visually, clear pathways to a deeper level of content, and now SEO clusters around real questions and real questions that get answered. That is how you build authority. That's how authority is built. This is how trust compounds, and this is how AI discovers these days. Riley, take it away from here. Give us the SEO and AI reality check, please.
Well, here's the part that most businesses aren't ready for. Google doesn't rank pages anymore. It ranks your authority. And AI doesn't read your mission statement. It looks at your patterns. What do you talk about consistently all the time? How deep do you go? Do other platforms confirm your expertise?
Are you referenced, watched, linked, and repeated? If your website is static, AI fills in the blanks. And you don't want AI guessing who you are. You might be Leon Goochworth the fourth, not the third.
You never know.
I don't know that that's a bad thing. I mean, he is part of a lineage of Goochworths.
Yeah.
And here's why video, once again, is a non-negotiable on modern sites. Video really isn't optional anymore, even though I'd say 99% of people right now, businesses, are still opting out of it and not really opting in it. Now, there is an evolution. It is growing, but it's every industry is just plagued by yesterday.
Yeah.
And the year before yesterday, and the year before that yesterday. And so video is an optional, video answers faster, video builds trust quicker, and guess what? It's gonna hold your attention longer. Video feeds every platform, and it trains search engines. And a website without video in 2026 is like a sales team that refuses to speak. Can you imagine if you had a sales team that wouldn't talk?
How would you get anything done?
Sign language, you could. I mean, you could have things on paper, or I guess you could have stuff in a book, but
Physical?
would you be physically out? What is that? What is the game where you have to act out?
Oh, like charades?
Charades.
Yeah.
What if your sales team was a master at charades and mime? And what do they call it? Memes or mimes? Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
A
yeah.
mime.
Yeah.
What is a broadcast studio website and what does it even look like? And here's the deal, it doesn't have to be flashy. You don't need to spend $100,000 on it. It just needs to be intentional. It needs to have a clear narrative, weekly or bi-weekly content updates, embedded YouTube and podcast players, strong calls to action, and they need to be tied to your content and your SEO built around real questions. Content that grows every single month, that works for you. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is fucking momentum.
Yeah.
Do you want momentum in 2026? Do you want to grow? What are you doing different? You don't have to believe me. I mean, you could be like, oh, these crackers, like, what the hell do they know? I mean, like, and you know what? I mean, maybe you're right for thinking that. I have no idea. But what I'm telling you is truth. I mean, it really is. And if you stay where you are, you'll never get or experience what you could be. And if you're sitting there complaining about where you are
Yeah.
and not focused in on how are these industries looking? How is every industry looking? Where is marketing going in the future? It's going to AI, it's going to video, it's going to dynamic. It is not going back to a digital brochure.
And if you look up, it's honestly kind of funny. I did it the other day. I looked up on the internet, what is the what's the upcoming and most unique way of marketing? And the first thing that pops up is content, and then right under it is AI.
There you go.
Look it up on Google.
Bugging like a true Goochworth.
Yep.
But people are going to go, but we've already invested in our website. Great. Now make it work. We'll update it later. Later is why it's failing now. I mean, like, okay, you know, we just can't afford to do it. You can't afford not to do it. Or maybe you can. You know, you don't get the time back. Your company doesn't get the time back. The amount of impressions or potential long-term clients you could have had, you could say, oh, woulda, coulda, shoulda. No, really, you shoulda. And you could have, you just didn't. And because you wanted to hold on to the little bit of money you had or the little bit of business and keep your fingers crossed for that next referral from one of your existing clients. You know, it's great if that happens. That's not how you should build longevity in your business or for your family. And I would imagine if you're the owner of a business, that directly affects your family, you know, good or bad. So, anyway, people are like, well, we don't want it to feel cluttered. Well, guess what? Empty isn't clean. It's pretty ineffective, right?
Yeah.
And we don't have time for content. And you don't have time to grow. So, you know, if you're happy where you are, turn me off right now. Because you know what? I'm turned off if you're happy where you are, to be honest with you. Then you don't have time for growth. Okay, so this is how follow-up media positions itself. We don't build websites, we build media ecosystems. And sometimes we have to drag clients along kicking and screaming. And that's okay because if we get them to where they need to be, at least we can high five each other and go, okay, that was like I was talking my grandmother how to use the Facebook or walking Leon through technology, even though he's part of a kind of a technology company, makes me want to commit suicide right here on our show. Yeah, maybe it was his computer, maybe it was him. I don't know. We treat your site like a studio, not a brochure. Every piece of content, every clip, every article has a home. That's how authority compounds. That's how search grows. And that's how leads happen without chasing them, right? It's great to have a team that's chasing leads and trying to, establish relationships and connect and follow up and go through all those motions. You got to have that component because all your leads aren't going to come in from one damn spot. You also need another funnel. Actually, really, you need multiple funnels. And the best, most cost-effective funnels are the funnels that bring in leads that don't require manpower, that work off of content you've already created that is positioned correctly to continue working year in and year out. So here it is. Once again, if your website isn't broadcasting, it's disappearing. Static sites are fading. Dynamic sites, they're dominating. And the companies that understand this now are the ones everyone else are going to be chasing later. So if you have a company that wants to get ahead of the curve, so all your competition can then chase you and try to catch up, you're in a fucking good position. This is Uncomfortable Truths About Modern Marketing. I'm Christian Lee. That's Leon Goochworth III. We are Follow Up Media. You can follow us, followupmedia.com. Hit subscribe on YouTube. We're available on all podcasting platforms because guess what? Our website isn't fucking static. We're digital, baby.
Amen. Gooch out. Gooch out.
Gooch out.